Broadcasting live from the Nepo baby ravaged bayous of Louisiana. How's everybody doing tonight? It's your boy, Maximilian Tucker. It sounds like another word, but don't say hey. We're going to get on with this show tonight. We have got fun and excitement. As soon as you hit that like button, the fun begins. It does sound like sucker. But not as much as Kaiju Kitty. Talib 1980 _ collects, my cohort co-host on the fabulous Figure Fight Club. What an amazing episode we had Tuesday. Speaking of fun and excitement, always had that night. And it would have been more if we could have just got Woody 222. Listen, I want to give a shout out to this guy right here. This guy right here. I have always been, you know, some people are like, they hear that English accent and they will do anything. You give me some old school Brooklyn of some 5 boroughs, and I'll listen to anything you got to say. Anything you got to say. And then we're going to go rob a liquor store. So give Woody 222 a follow. I promise his videos are always heartfelt, always fantastic, and he's got great taste in toys, and he's just fantastic. Speaking of which, Just Jeff, who is supposed to be adulting today, but for some reason he found the slack. Praise Bob. Oh, I have just I like really wish I could tell you that I am fully functional and awake. And oh wait, and hydrated. Delicious. We're gonna turn the volume off on this phone because I know Ken's Toys is probably going to send me at least 24 videos that will make me want to bleach my eyes before this episode is over. We've got some really fun tonight. Some really fun, really fun tonight. We're gonna see just how bad Max can fuck up the English language, and we're gonna do it with style. Fez out. There we go. Gotta get the swoosh. So, a dear friend of the show, Mr. Frankenstein. No, not Mr. Frankenstein. If you don't get that reference, a dear friend, and a wonderful driver. Somewhere on YouTube right now is Death Race 2000. Come back to me and tell me what a hand grenade is, and you and I can talk about some wonders of the universe. Justin Booth, oh my God, I have got just some wonderful people in here tonight. But God, I hope I don't disappoint. I was just going to talk about the latest in vape juices, and no, we're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is a friend of the show and somebody who we're trying to get to 4,000 followers, 4,000 subs. Had to make a choice this week between Maximum Profit Hulk, which, like what you like, people, in the words of It's Chad. But in passing that up, she had to cancel her Quirrell and Falcon order. So I have promised to open this live tonight, and we're going to do that before we get to the main event and talk about modern toys. Some of you will leave hurt, fascinated, and maybe a little traumatized. So make sure you stick around for the second half of the show. But for the first half of the show, we're going to open this. Kaiju Kitty, you can do no wrong. No wrong. You got Sly Stallone. You got David Carradine. You just no more perfect movie. You've got Cars that just I don't, no spoilers. It's only been out for 40 fucking years. But Death Race 2000 is just, it's my ultimate guilty pleasure. I'm just gonna just ditty yourself up with some good quality scented baby oil, light a little incense, lower the lights in the room, throw on Death Race 2000, put that volume on the surround sound a lot higher than recommended by Apple products, and enjoy yourself. You deserve it. Treat yourself 2025. You know what? I've seen the audience. I'm pretty sure you're in like-minded company, Kaiju. So without further ado, so we can get on to the main event and talk about modern toys, let's get this box open. First thing we need to do is get out the big box opening tool. And it gets in here some way. And yes, I am overcompensating. Fuck you. All right. This is for Rowdy Riles, everybody. Let's get her to 4,000 subs so she can afford to go back in time and regret her decision of choosing Maximum Hulk over Night Force, Falcon, and Quirrell. Let's see. Oh man, I'm a sucker for Night Force. Absolutely a sucker for Night Force. But I'll tell you what I am most definitely a sucker for, and that is that Scarlet body. That I knew. Get you some of that cake, boys. A lot of people griped about the head sculpt on this figure, but I am really pleased with it. I was also, surprisingly, I was setting myself up for disappointment from the get-go because I really thought that I was going to be disappointed with the Glinda figure that came with the HasLab Dragonfly. Everybody talked shit about that head sculpt. And to be fair, that those original renders did not look great. Jesus Christ. Pack it in here, Hasbro. Jeez Louise. All right, well, maybe we'll just let that sit and think about what it's doing for a bit. That stupid Flint shotgun making its way again. A little less gummy than I thought it was going to be in this kit, but I have been sitting on this for, well, since it came out. I didn't open it. I really didn't see a need to. Yes, that is a very good point. For those who missed out on the crystal ball, it is back up for pre-order. I would recommend getting on that because I guarantee you they didn't make any more. They just, you know, are finally getting them shipped. I think we might actually see them. I know more than a few people who got their orders canceled. That right there, now, that's a little wobbly, but that is the least gummy weapon I have seen out of a G.I. Joe package in at least 4 years. There we go. Get my fat head out of the way here. Whoop. And that hand is gone forever. No, there it is. All right, you're coming out this time, motherfucker. Oh. I did it, mateys. Okay. Why are you opening this for Rowdy, Max? You know what? Because she's worth it. Sometimes you just got to do something for the crew for no other reason than the crew needs it. There's a lot in this kit. Two packs are always kind of interesting. What reuse you're going to get on a bunch of stuff, and I knew that mostly this was getting that Falcon head, and because that other one was, I mean, it was bad. That's no other way to say it. That first run Falcon was not it just was not good. And because they knew that, they of course throw in a steel core helmet. So you don't have to you can put this Falcon head on the other figure, because nobody excels at making you pay to fix their fuck ups than Hasbro. And I will always be, and listen, if I get any hate, know that I have a complete collection, almost minus 2 figures, of G.I. Joe Classified. So I have earned every right to talk every bit of shit that Hasbro deserves and the Classified team deserves about these figures. I love them, but they piss me off. All right. Of course, why can't the lady have the big 1911? That Falcon's got to get that. I'm going to. It's my Night Force, so I'm not gonna. And I am out of stands right now, and that is not a great thing. Because I guarantee you, this guy doesn't stand up for shit. Them damn hairy arms. That is some interesting choice of deco right there. Very interesting choice of deco. That is some. I like that his machete goes into his backpack a whole lot easier than he did on that Falcon figure. You know, another little bitch, another little Hasbro making you pay for their screw ups. So the Mad Marauder Sergeant Slaughter came with his itty bitty ditty bag. Which was not Sergeant Slaughter's. If you've ever watched the film, you know that the bag belonged to Falcon. See, there's that shit right there. What I usually do is give them a rub. And you want to rub, your first thing is you think you want to rub it where the angle it's going. Rub it on the side that it's not. Just give it a good rub, a little friction heat, and that will push it a lot gentler towards the angle it needs to go. If that doesn't work, go hit it with the next time your wife makes some tea. But I'm not using that one. I don't understand where these extra flashlights are supposed to go, but I think I'm going to put one. I think one of the other gripes too was, I think under here, British flag. I think that was one of the big complaints, that she's not British. Coral is Swedish, and she has under her other arm piece is Zeta Force Z. And I don't believe now Analog Toys and it's Chad would be much better at helping me remember. Oh, the belt loops have I'm looking Woody, but oh no, you're right. There is a spot on belt loop. For that flashlight. Let's pull that backpack off. All right. See, they put his arm piece. It is. I think that they use the upper body here from Outback. It's definitely that. I'll mess around with that later. Let's get the flashlight on there. Leave it to Woody. He knows. Oh, it doesn't want to fit on there well. Come on. Oh, it feels it's prom night all over again. I know you'll fit. Woody has 15 of them. I believe that. Ken's Toys in the house. We're just doing a little bit of Hasbro, and then we're going to get to the main event. If I can get this flashlight in here. Jiminy Christmas. I promise you this, that flashlight goes in, it ain't coming out. That is where it's going to live. I may actually have to heat that up. Fuck that shit. You know what? Falcon, he's too busy getting cooch to worry about lighting that shit up. But he doesn't need a flashlight. What he does need is these arm pieces to. All right, Rowdy. I think maybe you made the good decision. I'm starting to feel like freaking Maximum Hulk might have been the better choice. There's a lot of little extras in here. Like, I think that knife has no place to go. Nope, that's wrong. Quarrel has 2 knives. Good on you. There's a strange little spot. There's a hole for something right in her hip. And I know on the Scarlet. Oh, nope, that's her belt. Her belt's supposed to clip in there. See if I can get that right. Oh, there we go. All right. Put her arrows in there. I was less bothered by the British flag under her arm than some people. I was bothered by the Z emblem because like I said, I don't believe Quarrel was I think it was she was a international GI Joe's international. I am going to be absolutely honest when it comes to Quarrel, I had no idea. Glinda, I knew about. Um, there's really something goofy going on with her leg right there. That's just that drop down. Not getting in there. And that's exactly what it was. Glinda, I knew about. Uh, Quarrel, I had never heard of until this set came out. I do kind of wish that their helmets were large enough to go over their heads like they did with the um, Sabretooth, the Tiger Force uh, ATV. But there you go. There's damn sure no place for a flashlight on Quarrel. I don't know why you would need a crowd pleaser with this set other than just some extra weapons. That one is definitely some hard plastic. Nice little AR-15. What the fuck is that? Look at that magazine. Why? You couldn't make that magazine a little bit thinner to fit in. You had to notch it. Makes no sense to me. No extra hands. You know what? Here's what we'll do. No flashlight in his belt. Put it in his hand. So that's the Falcon and the Quarrel. Listen, any figure they want to do that reuses that is Quarrel Z Force? Was that was because somebody was, I remember somebody griping about the Z Force logo on her arm. And I know there was definite complaints about the British flag on her arm when she's a Swedish nationality. Okay, so we have it confirmed that Quarrel was in Z Force. Okay, so that's the correct logo. So the only problem was that they had a British flag. But let me ask you this: if you're foreign service and you go, like, I'm Swedish and I go to Britain and Z Force is definitely British. If you go over there, would you have a British flag on? A little bit of military that. Okay, so it's correct then. Yeah, Z Force is Palatoy. But it was during the Hasbro when they weren't like the Palatoy. It was when after the because they used Scarlet's body. Yeah, I, the I guess that does give you options if you want to not have her be Night Force. You can take the arm coverings off and expose the the British and the Z Force. I don't know. Listen again. I am. I don't care how many times they reuse this Scarlet body. I will be happy with whatever they do with it. It is a great body. It sits well on the shelf. It articulates well. I can't stand those. I mean, I know having the little pistol on the inner arm and stuff like that's a little throwback to the original Scarlet toy, but I that is one of my major complaints about classified lines is things like this. When they could have made two little throwing stars and had little attachments. The same thing with having grenades molded in to shoulder parts. Give me the grenades. I know you can make them. They've came out on Snake Eyes. They've come out for the Beachhead. I think there's another figure that carries them. I know you can do it. Quit molding in shit that I can't use on a figure of this scale. No reason for it. I'm going to say an unpopular opinion. As much as ugly as that other Falcon head sculpt is, I like it more than this one. This just does not look like a Falcon to me. This is a good head sculpt. Hat comes off. Definitely got some nice Anglo-Saxon features, but it just It doesn't say Falcon to me. The other one, as ugly as it was, he looks more to like Falcon to me than um yeah, boo. Yeah, 3 people left the room. But it just doesn't look like Falcon to me. It honestly just it looks like a I don't know. It's I'll probably at some point pull his head off and go ahead and stick the Steel Brigade on there, or excuse me, backtrack, Steel Core, and I'll probably go ahead and throw the top on there. Quarrel, I am absolutely going to leave alone because she's perfect and dead ass. That is some ScarJo level sculpt right there. That's all I got to say about that. Stu, it's good to see you, sir. That would be interesting to see. I would be interested to see that. I honestly I don't I'm not going to say anything negative about Classified. That's not true. I'll say plenty of things negative about Classified. But the not Falcon. And I got lucky, I guess. I didn't get any gummy weapons. Or let me say that again. I didn't get the gummier weapons. They're still friggin' gummy. But come on. Let's get some D-Amazing quality going on here. That Quarrel's a nice figure. And all Scarlet Body reuse aside, that she's gonna look good with the other Night Force stuff I got going on. So it was fun, if nothing else. Oh, of course, neither of you fucking stand for shit. Yeah, of course you don't. And Hasbro can't give you stands. No. Why would we do stands? Come on. All right. Let's get caught up with chat, see what we got going on here. All right. Yeah, well, I think on these two, I know that they reused the new Scarlet, but I think that I'm fairly that Falcon is 100% Outback. Yeah, that's the arms, every bit of that. That's all Outback body right there. Which is kind of funny because why wouldn't you? Man, there's no way I'm digging my old Falcon out. He is tucked way in the back because I hate looking at him. But why would you use Outback's body for Falcon? You've already got a Falcon mold. sometimes their choices confuse me, and it doesn't make any sense. I'm sure there's a reason behind it. I'm sure we'll never know what that reason is. But hey, listen, everything goes good in a Vanguard. It's God, I cannot wait for DFW Toy Show. I'm really hoping that Valaverse releases the accessory kit for the Vanguard, and you can get the cow catcher and the. I cannot wait for that. That is. Let's see. Can I compare them with Valaverse? Well, the Falcon is pinless. Let's see what I just. I just put my other two figures over in my Valaverse display, but here you go. There is a size comparison with almost the same. The the little trooper buck that Valaverse does. This one's definitely a little heavier. And Valaverse comes with a fucking stand. Just saying. And a backpack that you can put shit in. Coral is definitely a lot smaller. I mean, I don't know that it's super fair comparison. I know everybody like always wants to throw them in together and everything like that, but there's no comparison to me the difference between Valaverse and the classified line. Valaverse is all the weak points that classified are all beefed up on Valaverse. The hip joints are better. The the way things sit, the attention to detail. That's comparable. The details are always good on both lines. Damn sure no gummy weapons or screwed up looking magazines on the Valaverse. You always, at I'm not going to ever try to say one line is better than the other. One line is better than the other. You know what? Fuck it. I'll absolutely say it. If I had to make the choice between the line, I could only have one line. I would probably go with Valaverse at this point. Is that the comparison that you want, AFA? It's I collect the GI Joes because it was the only way that I was going to get the collection that I wanted without investing the time and energy into hunting down the either the 4-inch line or the 3 3/4 line, the 1/18 scale, the vintage or the post vintage. And I knew that that was just going to be a hunt that I just don't have fucking time. I have a hard enough time just getting fucking classified. And, you know, with Valaverse, there's still a hunt. I have given up hope of ever getting a 1 in 100th figure because my luck is shit. And it's you're either going to get it or you're not. Or you're going to pay the secondary market price. And I've done that for a bloody Pandora head. $45 for one head, just so I could have it. And that's just that's maybe one day when Woody adopts me. It classified is within, it's my nostalgia line. It's something that I had a complete collection at one time up to a certain year, and I wanted that back. Then I'm going to have it. And I like classified. I fucking love Valaverse. I haven't gotten a bad figure. I haven't gotten anything I'm unhappy with. I like the creativity and the media that that Bobby Val has done with it. So listen. Drop fucking shill in my channel and I'll ban your ass. But I'm happy. I used to get people all the time to come up and like, give me a free tattoo, Max. Fuck you. If you respect my work, pay me for my work. And I happily pay Bobby Valla for his work. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Tell me I'm wrong. Ask Woody. Woody, am I wrong? All right, let's see. What else we got going on? Catching up in chat. Did Rowdy finally showed up? Did you see your figures? It's all for you, Damien. All for you.
Did you like it? Did you?
Anyway, so that's Coral and Falcon, and an ask for Valaverse comparison. It's I understand why those comparisons have to exist, because Action Force will always be connected to G.I. Joe. Always. There's no way around it. It's one reason why I think I really want my classifieds to be better. And they've gotten better. I've got some of these figures I love. We were talking last night with It's Chad on Go to Bed episode 11. Had a great episode last night with Talib and Avi from Figure Fight Club was there, and the chat. Everything was great about last night, and the conversation was very GI Joe focused. And we were talking about just some of the figures in Classified that were great, and Major Blood with the head sculpt and I'm so glad that we're going to pay once again to fix Hasbro's mistakes, to have the figure that we should have had, and we get the pinless Major Blood coming soon to a pre-order near you. What else have we got going on here? Let's keep it. We're checking the chat. Blame it on Smudge. He did it. I saw it all, and I'm willing to testify. JMK Customs, Mr. Mikey, and his fantastic pops. Dens, please give me an update. I'm too old. I have a weak heart. I'm a broken man. We got to get this. Who do I need? Do I need to send some bribe money down there? We can make something happen. You know, slip a couple bills in to the right person, have a, nice well-dressed lady or well-dressed man show up to somebody's house. Tell me what I need to do, Dens. We need to get this done. I want, actually, you know what? It might be worth a like or two just to hear you scream like a banshee. That all right, let's keep getting. We're almost caught up with chat. We're trapped with the trash we call chat. All of you, True Star Screamer. Always trust a screamer in the house. Oh, we're almost there. Leonce, how you doing, sir? So far, I've had only one issue with any of my Valaverse figures. I just purchased 7 figures directly from Valaverse website last night, and I bet you feel good about it because it feels good to do it. The only problem I ran into was of my own creation, and it was actually the second figure that right here. I don't preheat my figures, and very seldom. I will occasionally. And I got this guy out of the box, and the first thing I did was just twist him. And I popped that little waist peg. I mean, I still haven't found it. It's here somewhere. It went flying out of the body. 100% not a Valaverse problem. 100% a Max is a fucking idiot problem. That but a little bit of green stuff, a little bit of glue, and I got a figure to paint. So that sleep isn't important. Yep, just preheat the oven, slide them right in. Make sure you use a pizza stone. Those work best with classified. All right, we're all caught up on chat, and we're about to get to the main event. Modern toys, ladies and gentlemen, and fluids. Hydrate, everybody. The Amazing would want you to. Modern toys is a very, very unique combination of words. Because I promise you, in this chat tonight and out there in the great big world, because we are simulcasting also on the Nakatosh Studios Facebook page. As Einstein said, time is relative, and modern toys are relative. So I'm going to share with you something tonight that was super important to me in my youth. And as AARP and some of you in chat will not let me fucking forget, I'm a 50-year-old man. So let's get some shit out of the way here. Let's get over Quirrell. As I've discussed before in a couple groups and a few interviews, my parents were antique dealers. My mother, my father was until he passed. My mother still is, as so. One of the big things about antiques is research. Just like when you're dealing with toys, with anything, somebody tells you, you know, coral was Z force. Man, where does it say that? Oh, it says that right there. Okay, that's true. You researched it, you found the information, confirmed it, and then you passed it along to the old man who don't know no better. Well, one of the books that my parents had on the shelf and gave to me was this book, Modern Toys by Linda Baker. And it is it's Schroeder Antique Price Guide book. They used to print everything you could imagine. Schroeder came out with a book for. But this one right here had toys on it. This was my Sears catalog. This was, it had toys that I grew up with. And I wanted to share some of those tonight and uh, uh, share some of those early toys and in doing so, I'm going to be sharing. This is broke down into certain companies. Some of them you may have heard of. Some of them maybe gone into the conglomerate that is the corporate whore, Mattel and Hasbro, and gone are the days of Kenner. But I'm going to share a few toys out of this that I owned that were important to me, and how they've come to kind of shape what we like today. And and tonight's going to be full of nostalgia, and I'm going to try to do a pretty good review of this without getting copyrighted for showing a book. But let's have some fun with some modern toys. Now, my parents being antique dealers, the 1930 stuff was definitely stuff that we had in the house. If anybody is interested in this book, I think that it has an IMDb. Yes, ISBN number right there on the bottom. $20 for this book, and that was let's see, this book came out in 1985. $20 in 1985 was a lot of fucking money. Mr. Lisi, you know what? It's funny that occasionally I will bring up a friend of mine who had some of the original vehicle set Voltron and a lot of Optimus Primes and Transformers and stuff that I was probably always trying to steal. And he is here in the house, and you are most welcome, Daniel. Leah, always a pleasure. All right, so let's get to some modern toys. And one of the first that I want to bring up is Fisher Price. Now, my parents, my mother especially, was a amazing garage sailor. And I do not use that term lightly because fanatic actually might be better. She had that newspaper Thursday. She had every garage sale circled. The ones that were repeats, she knew. If they had something that that she knew they had. She knew the order in which to go to save the, like they say UPS drivers never turn right, they all or never turn left or some shit like that. They always do that route going in a certain direction. That was my mother garage sailing, and she turned it into a masterpiece of junking. So Adventure People was one of the sets, and you might notice a little familiarity in some of those. And not many people know that the original Star Wars toys, the prototypes, were all made from Adventure People. And they are fairly nifty to look at. But I had almost all of these Adventure People sets. You had the helicopter. I loved it. The plane. Listen, I'm going to tell you, me and that plane, I would have a pilot's license if it was all based on the amount of hours that I put into that plane. And we're talking, I mean, now they weren't Tonka truck level sturdy, but these were sturdy toys. But they were creative. They just, I mean, this dude came with a dolphin. And I mean, all of these. If it was an adventure series, I had it. Either brand new out of the box or my mother found it at a garage sale. The camping, the Northwoods Trailblazer set, made in 1979. The Land Speed Racer. Now, this was an interesting one because it was kind of similar to, I believe that was the same body mold that the space set had, but they don't have the space set listed in here. God, I had a few of these. I had a little sister, so we always had some little cutesy toy around too. But Fisher Price, they're almost responsible for everything that you love today. There was the little amusement park set. Man, I got some playtime out of that too. The medical kit. Jeez Louise. Sesame Street set. All right, let's get on. Okay, so moving past Fisher Price, the Adventure People series was just something that was always, headcanon. Exactly. That's almost everything that was in this book I owned at one time. I mean, from front to back. Either it was an antique that my parents had, or it was a junk toy that my mom found at a garage sale or an auction, or it was something that I got brand new. And I'll tell you something that got a lot of use well past its my toddler days. The Play Family Castle. Now, this was one of those, you had, I think this was about the time that Fisher Price, they used to make these little people out of wood. And I think this came out about the time that they really started focusing on plastic. Now, I never had the little knight or the little people that came with it, but I had the dragon and I had that castle. And I used to play with a bunch of my Star Wars figures with it. It had a trap door, it had a little dungeon in there. It was fantastic. I was just, it was fun stuff. And of course, Gilbert toys. If you just needed Man, I don't know anybody who had a chemistry set who didn't just day one went and threw all those fucking chemicals together. And some people just want to watch the world burn. Now, I'm bringing this one up just for the simple fact that whoever owns this license now for Weeble Wobbles, you are personally responsible for the failure of mankind, because there is no funner toy for a toddler than Weeble Wobbles, because Weeble Wobbles wobble, but they don't fall down. The Ghost House. I mean, this thing right here, I bet I never had the Tumbling Fun House or anything like that, but we had the Weebles Fun House, and I'm sure that we had Weeble Wobbles. It was probably my sister's. The Treasure Island. I bet I had 1,000 hours on that toy. That was probably one of the best play sets that ever made for a child. Ever. I will put that out there. I'll die on that hill. That if you could find a way to get use the exact molds, you don't have to change anything. Reproduce these toys as is today. And this is Hasbro. Oh, yeah, Hasbro. There you go. Yeah, no wonder it's getting fucked off. You want to say, yeah, Hasbro, you want to save something that you own the license to? You want to save the world? It's not your G.I. Joes. It's not your other IPs. Produce Weeble Wobbles. Fuck the adults. Go back to kid shit. If you made this Treasure Island playset, if you did the Ghost Van, the Ghost House, the Tumbling Fun House, holy shit, don't get me started. Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. Oh, the Tree House. I know it's in this book. Actually, Treehouse might not be Weeble Wobbles, but I sure used Weeble Wobbles on them. If you redid Weeble Wobbles today, there would be no stopping what that would do. Infinite possibilities. And all you've got to do, I mean, holy shit. Listen, I could say this because I'm, I've got more than enough Creek Seminole in me. The Weebles Wigwam. It's a fantastic toy. None of that blue-eyed Cherokee shit. That Ghost House was just amazing. It was, I could still see it as clear as the day I played with it as a 5-year-old. I mean, this is 1975 stuff. 1976 it came out. How many toys do you know outside of Star Wars that you could reproduce today, not change anything about it? Bring back Weeble Wobbles. I would buy Weeble Wobbles today. Today. I listen, I'll agree with that. I Playmobil, there was a lot of toys that were gateways to Playmobil, and Playmobil was a lot of gateways to a lot of toys. Discussed this last night on Go to Bed. You had a lot of interchanging ideas, and one of them was assembling your toy. You know, Hasbro did it with G.I. Joe. Playmobil still does it today. I remember watching Michael French's video talking about putting together the Enterprise toy and the Time Machine DeLorean from Playmobil. I still want a Playmobil A-Team van. I want it so bad. I am not paying those prices though. But it's I wish that Classified did that. I mean, they do it a little bit, but you know, I would love to be able to have some of that back and be able to put together more than I put together that Dragonfly. I would love to have been able to do a little bit more with that. It's that was half the fun. And half of the tears too, because when you fucked it up or bent that plastic, you know, you had to you had to go buy another one. Oh, yeah, okay. But I mean that Hasbro, I mean, holy crap. Ricochet Racers. Bet that's a Hasbro product you never heard of. Cars that you could shoot out of a rifle. Fuck yeah. America. I got some Hustler toys. Oh, Ideal. Ideal was a company. Let's see. It was begun in 1907. They did, you know, little cars, kind of like Matchbox stuff. But these were some of the toys that my parents had that I wasn't allowed to play with. Robert the Robot, the mechanical dishwasher. But this is one. The reason I'm bringing up Ideal is because this was a toy that I always wanted. And I used to drool over this book because of this. And it was called The Phantom Raider. And it was, God, 30 inches long. It was a battery operated. It imitated an ocean roll. So it, you know, kind of had that. Now, it also popped open with fucking missile launchers. It had 4 torpedoes, 2 rockets, and 2 depth charges. And I wanted that ship. You know what? I haven't looked for it in a number of years. I'm sure I could find it. I can't imagine. Abby, have a great night. Can't wait for tomorrow. We will be featuring. We've got Sir Dork on Figure Fight Club Friday night. It's going to be a great episode. He's really, really fun YouTuber. But that Phantom Raider was something I've never seen one. In fact, until I repurchased this book the other day, I had kind of forgotten about it. And I'm scared to go look because one, I don't have any place to put it. And 2, I'm worried that it's going to be stupid expensive and I'm going to buy it anyway. But, I mean, it had yeah. Now we get to the meat and potatoes, boys and girls. Kenner. And I'm going to skip through a lot of this because no, I'm not. Fuck it. $6 million man. I mean, listen, that wasn't ever really my gig. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see, it was Kenner. So I guess Hasbro owns it too, but the Treetops Treehouse. That was something I had a lot of fun with as a kid. Of course, you got Stretch Armstrong. Notice they don't have how about Milky, the Marvelous Milking Cow? This was a toy that was in my house, but I was not allowed to use it. I think my mom set it up one time and was like, "Nope, there's no fucking way I'm giving this to the kid." It was, it's, it drinks, it moves, and then you milk it. And apparently, it came with a booklet called "How to Get Milk," but we don't own a cow. Star Wars. And listen, I really didn't have to worry about Star Wars in from what it shows in here because I had literally every bit of this. My mom, like me, when we got something, she wanted to get all of it. So I had all, oh yeah, listen, y'all with your Ultra Sabers nowadays, we used to have to blow up a fucking balloon and attach it to a flashlight. Modern toys, people, modern toys. And it came with a patch kit, which didn't mean fuck all. Oh man, it puzzles. That stupid van. I bet at one point I had about 6 of these things because they were in every garage sale Star Wars pile because nobody fucking liked them. And now I own that van. The 12-inch figures were always my favorites, especially that Boba Fett. This was something. The Land of Jawa's action playset. Now, I always had the base. I never had the cardboard background to this. And they reused this mold down on the bottom, the base of this for, I think, a couple different sets. One of the Hoth sets, I believe. It got its use, as well as the Droid Factory, an electronic battle game that absolutely nobody knew how to use. Remote control Jawa. Now, I had this, but I didn't have the remote control or something happened to it and it never worked. But how about the survival kit? The only way you could get the little face masks from Empire Strikes Back. I don't believe I ever saw one of those either. All the die-cast vehicles had tons of those. Knickerbocker. That was, I think I've still got a few Knickerbocker toys. All right, Marks. I bring up Marks because Marks was the king. Everybody's like, oh, my G.I. Joe playsets. Oh, my Star Wars playsets. You want to know where every one of them got its start? Marks. They had a Guns of Navarone. They had Fort Apache. If you wanted a playset in the late 70s, Marks was your source. It was just, they did a lot of these in diecast. I think I had the fire station. I know I had the barn at one point. I'm sure that I mean some of the grease rack and wash rack. I think that's pretty cool, but it's not as cool as Duarte's motorcycle stand. But Marks was just the medieval castle. This was one. We had it, and I wasn't ever allowed to play with it. I don't believe it was ever. I don't believe it ever came out of the box between the time we got it and the time it was sold. Now we get to Mattel, the other big tasty treat for tonight's show. Mattel's Men in Space. These guys were a blast. Some of you kids in the room had your Centurions and your but let me tell you, you can have your Motus, and that's fine. But 1970s Mattel was you had Captain Laser. This guy was, holy crap. He took, I think, like 4 batteries or something like that. 12-inch figure, everything you could want in a figure. Lit up, his chest lit up, his pistol lit up. But the space mission team, the Men in Space, was just really fantastic. They were catching on the end of that whole, NASA period and stuff like that. And they were just, they never really took off, but they were hella fun. All right, we'll get past some of the blocks. Of course, you had Pulsar. Every time I got this guy, he was always buck ass naked. And for some reason, he had fatal lung collapse. So, but I mean, you're gonna give a kid a figure that pumps blood. Nowadays, kids would want you to want it to squirt. Now, of course, you've got one of the early Mego Hulks, but what Mego really, Maximum Hulk, the Micronauts. These, I always got the figures secondhand. I don't believe I ever saw a Micronaut on the shelf. I mean, I would have been 2 years old when it came out, but later on, like the rocket tubes, that was 79, and just so it was still, you could still get them on the shelf. The Rail City, that was one, always had pieces to this. I believe I had the car and a little bit of the track. I know I had the figures for it, but it's that rocket tubes. If you get a chance, there's more than a couple of YouTube videos of people who have this and have it set up and show it working when it works. And it's just, the engineering behind it was just fantastic. Now, I don't think, let's see. Oh, I just kind of tagged this one because I had it and nobody will fucking get it. But the Gilligan's Island, the Gilligan's floating island. Now, I don't know that I had the figures, but I know I had the raft, I had the boat, and I had this little, it was just this hunk of plastic. It was hollow inside, and it was hard. I mean, really hard plastic. And it was just a blast. This thing, I bet I took more baths with this. Had more like shit I washed off my body stuck to it than I ever want to admit. But I had so much fun with that as a kid. Flintstone cars, and this is play school, so we're starting to get, towards the show you a few random pages of the rest. Most of this stuff is more into the antique line where you start getting into the 30s and 40s. Yeah, irons. They used to give kids really real irons. And yeah, if you're going to learn. That's a lot of the things, this was just, I had almost as much fun with this book as a kid that I had with a lot of the toys that I've talked about tonight. There was just, that's the collector in me. Seeing what's out there. A lot of GI Joes used to come with well, hell, hold on, I think I've got one. Let's used to have these little collection books that came with some of your larger play sets. And we'll go back here. And it would go through and just show you everything that was out there. More heroes, more villains, 48 Star Wars Empire Strikes Back figures. 48 of them, kids. I'm pretty sure that this probably came out of my Millennium Falcon. This was one of my, you want to talk about a collection that was just some of the absolute, I played with more than than any Star Wars figure. And that is the Micro Collection. This Ion Cannon was one of the most creative designs of any Star Wars playset ever made. And they were just, and holy crap, it was the only place that you could get, the main scene from Empire Strikes Back was two major places, Hoth and Bespin. And you never got any kind of Bespin toys, but you got them in micro scale. And you could, it was just, and you could connect them. Oh, geez, I could go on for hours about these. And the Death Star. Yeah, somebody cut the back off that, probably for me joining the fan club. But you had the Death Star escape and the trash compactor. Let's see. The Rebels Must Escape. This action playset features an exploding cannon that clicks and holds a stormtrooper, and manually operated bridge, a removable elevator assembly, and even a rope to swing Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa from one side to another, set up in action poses. Death Star Escape connects with other Death Star playsets. Available summer 1982. Now, the G.I. Joes and this one, both of these were mine. And this one has been through hell. I'm pretty sure that this one actually came with either my Terrordrome or my Mamba. I never had a Maggot. And I never had a Night Raven either. But almost everything else, yeah, see, I got the Cobra Law special team. That definitely got check marked. Got my Terrordrome and Mamba check marked there. Let's see. I know I had a Sea-Ray. Got my Zanzibar marked off. This stupid Pogo. Oh. And of course, I can tell you what didn't get checked off. the Defiant. 3 play sets in one. Joe's blast off to battle Cobra for control of the high frontier. Incredible styling, realistic details, and lots of hands-on play. Now, the Tomahawk I did have. I think me and Talib 1980 both had a Terrordrome and a Tomahawk. I believe that I almost got a Defiant. Now, the memories in my head, and I remember being at Toys R Us in Amarillo, Texas, and I was like, we need the Defiant. And I've probably shown my mom this very picture. She's like, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she saw the size of that fucking box and was like, that's a negative, Ghost Rider. She, at the time, she was like, I could put you and your sister in that box. That was... Now, the box for the USS Flag is a big box. But the box for that Defiant was a big damn box. See, but we were talking about this last night. Battle stations. Even as lame as the Coastal Defender was, people bitch about, that's kind of the point of my show tonight, was people talking and they bitch about some of the things that are out today, like the Cobra porta potties that they're putting out. Listen, do you know how much bitching we did over the Coastal Defender? It was a literal porta potty with missiles and a radar. I believe you, Ken. I do. I do believe you. It was, I think I had 2 or 3 of them because I kept breaking them or something. Now, I never had the Road Toad. Now, I know I've got my Battle Gear check marked here. Slam was something, I know I had a Devilfish. I know I had that Recon sled because I stole it. It's probably why I probably didn't mark all the shit I stole. Now how hard it is to put a Sergeant Slaughter and a Triple T down your pants and walk out the front door. It's not that hard when you got that bulge. You staring at my package, retail store clerk? Huh? What are you doing? I'm just a kid. Oh, Thunder Cycle. Hey, Abby, that's when you watch this later, that right there, that's a Thunder Machine, Abby. Abby, hey, Abby, that's a Thunder Machine. I just want you to know that's what a Thunder Machine is. It's right there, Abby. Abby. This is, God, I'll tell you what, that Mamba, I don't know who was more excited about getting that Mamba that Christmas, or it might have been my birthday. But I really think that my mom was more excited about that toy than I was. And it was a great toy. I mean, the way they designed and engineered those wings to cross like that and not just destroy themselves, and of course the Terrordrome, the Firebat was probably my favorite G.I. Joe toy of all time. To this day, if I could have one G.I. Joe toy, only one, I would take a fire bat and the AVAC pilot. They go together. So it's still one. That you know what? I really wanted it less for the toy and more for the worm driver. That was what I really wanted that figure. And shit. The figure's cheap. You can get him, $10-20 as long as he doesn't have that little antenna on him. He got that antenna. It's one of the main reasons, that's why I wanted to do this about modern toys. And you notice there's an asterisk at the end of that. One, because I really wanted to share this, and two, I wanted to. Now for the asterisk. Adult collectors are fucking shit. I'm a self-hater. We're not shit. We're good people who care about things that if we're going to regress, we want to care about the things we're going to regress to. And it's like I'm not going to defend to anybody why I like the classified line, why it brings me joy and happiness, because I'll damn sure sit right there and bitch about it with you. We can talk about its many flaws, but there comes a point where I'm starting to get the feeling sometimes that when all the lines die, it's going to be our fault. It's just a feeling. It's not. I'm not picking on anybody, and I'm not absolutely not calling anybody out or anything like that. So I'm really just trying to express a feeling. Okay, hold on, I can't take it anymore. Old books are musty. Sorry about that. When does it come a point to where everybody keeps pushing to impress adult collectors, and that's a finite market? If I get interested in a toy line at 45 years old, or I've met a few toy guys, they're mid 30s, adult collector age, then I've maybe got 20 years where, but I'm not going to be, how much of a market do you have with that one person? And how does it spread? I kind of jumped the gun a little bit on what I'm talking about tonight, and got to talking. I couldn't help it. You get talking with It's Chad, you're gonna get nostalgia. You're going to really talk about markets and what sold when and things like that. And he knows his stuff, and he knows the people who created those markets. Fun fact, one of the biggest creators of everything you love about G.I. Joe and a lot of modern toy lines, now teaches a class on on marketing. Uh, you can check out his interview with Bobby Valla on Valaverse YouTube channel, and it is 100% worth an hour of your life. I wish it was longer. But the toys that I loved as a kid, the toys that were super modern then, I remember, I'm old enough to remember when Star Wars came out. 5 POA, again, if you were lucky. I remember thinking it was shit articulation then, and I wanted better. But it was still that Adventure People series. It was close enough to that it worked with my vehicles. I had fun. I built those mental memories, muscle memories of playing with toys. And a lot of people have said that they don't see kids buying toys. So if that's true, which I have my doubts, um, I've seen some marketing numbers and things like that, and it's but the toys that I shared a lot with tonight weren't toys that I had past a certain age. I was still 5 to 10 years old. And then a lot of those early toys went into buy. I stopped. I'm pretty sure by the time I was 5, I was not bathing with the Gilligan's Island floating island playset. But I've got enough. I've got enough memories with those play sets and Star Wars play sets and other things like that I desire for them now. And they're not there. I think it's one reason why some of the Dio creators, the diorama creators, are really doing fantastic right now, because people want that. When are you going to see an end to toys? Are we within our lifetime going to see they were before a lot of people's lifetimes. Are we going to see an end of toys? We're never going to see an end of toys. Now, I know we're not. Now, listen, you walk down those same toy aisles, and the adult collector shelves are looking pretty sparse here lately. Stocked, but they're probably not stocked with anything you want because you walk down, and I don't make it a habit of walking down toddler aisles, but I do look down them and see the shelves are usually stocked with play sets. There's always some kind of Barbie dream house or Barbie car or large scale. I mean, shit, Barbie's what? Almost 1/6 scale. There's always a play set for them. So is it just boys' toys that are disappearing? Toys are going to leave. This book proves it. toys that you loved, that you grew up with, they're going to be gone, and they're going to they're not, toys are not going to disappear, but new toys are going to come. Point was made last night that there's only, and I agree with this, there's only so much you're ever going to be able to do with classified, and eventually that line's going to need to die. There's only so much you're going to be able to do with certain scales, space requirements. Hey, I got so much stuff that I can't even display because it's just big. So what's the answer? Is it scale back down? Was George Lucas and Kenner right the whole time? And 3 3/4 inch is truly the Lord scale? You've got McFarlane, who's moving more into statues, which, to be fair, his figures have always kind of been slightly posable statues. What will modern toys be in the next 10 years? And that's what I got. Modern toys. There's always going to be modern toys. There's my modern toys. There's 10 years younger than me's modern toys. There's 10 years younger than that's modern toys. Rowdy, who is still here and awake, probably past her bedtime, just got the big talk over the last few months has been the Maximum Spider-Man and the Maximum Hulk. I've heard they're great. They're fantastic. They're everything I've wanted in a Spider-Man. They will be everything I wanted in a Hulk. I've also heard they're overpriced. They're shitty. They're reuse. They don't, it just no way is that a maximum. There's positive and negative criticism on both sides of that fence. But that's somebody's modern toy. It was discussed one night that somebody who's never bought a Spider-Man, who's never bought a Hulk, that's going to be their first figure for both of those. That's going to be their modern toy. Well, I think I've pretty much ran everybody off at this point. If anybody has any comments or any questions, I'll give it a few minutes to let all that, whatever the fuck I was talking about, sink in. And then we're going to go let Rowdy get to bed because I need a nap too. And then hour and 45 minutes, I think we've had a good run. I really want to thank everybody, who tuned in and let me share this with you. Not to glaze a bunch of nostalgia or anything like that. It just, at one point in my life, nostalgia is the destroyer of worlds. Never forget that. But Some people just want to watch the world burn. Those toys were, and they're still special to me. I don't even own most of them anymore. And I don't know. I think we overlook that. I think that it's. I don't ever want to let that nostalgia obsess me to a point where I can't be critical of the purchases I make today. Um, it's always there's going to be that influence there, no matter who you are. There's very few people that are watching this or are toy modern, today toy collectors, be adult or young people buying their very first toy, and there's you're going to have that influence. And I've noticed a lot, especially over the last few months, and being a big part of Figure Fight Club and watching 3POA for the last 5 years. No wonder I've got fucking epilepsy. But um, it's a lot of people judge what they make today based off of what they had before, instead of trying to look at things with kids' eyes. And I definitely, when it comes to like my classified figures, I look at them with kids' eyes. Tonight was a little bit of an exception because, I had to, do that thing for Rowdy. But I'm going to go back here in a little bit when I really try to pose up these figs, and I'm going to look at them again as somebody who, and it shouldn't be too hard. Like with Quirrell, this is my first Quirrell, and I guarantee you, with the exception of a handful of people, this is their first Quirrell that they even knew existed. I'm one of those people. Now, if you had the original Quirrell, and most of the people that I've seen really upset about this figure are those that had the original Quirrell, and they're just, how could you do this to my figure? You made this. This is, you know, we get zealousy, or whatever that word may be. We all need to calm the fuck down sometimes, and just, if you're going to be a toy collector, you've got to be able to access your kid's mind. The kid inside you. Crazy, yeah. It, yeah. That's, listen. That absolutely is fit. And listen, I'm not. Most of the people that I'm talking about aren't that level. There are some people who will they'll beat your ass over their opinion of this figure, like physical violence over this. I've seen fist fights over toys. Some of you who've had to go hunt the aisles for some of these, I guarantee you've probably seen some. You know, um, it's conventions. Woo! Hey, listen, and I've seen them at antique shows, and you think, listen, you want their antiques, the toy collectors got nothing on people who collect antiques. Um, there has been murder committed over antiques. I watched toy men get into a fight over a pop figure in a Books a Million. Okay, that is 100% certifiable. But yeah, that's I've gotten some enjoyment for a couple of Funko Pops. I've heard them. I believe they were called the syphilis of the toy world the other day. And I'm not going to argue that, but I've gotten a few enjoyment. That figure has never been more than a repainted Scarlet without story or nostalgia. She even has the emblems under the pads. I don't know what some people want. And you know what? I can't argue that either. Because again, I didn't know shit about Quirrell. Now I watch a lot of Analog Toys, and I very much enjoy his history because I've got kid's eyes when I watch Tony. I watch him and the love he has for these old Palatoy figures. His documentary he did on Palatoys, if you have not seen it, it's worth a watch. It's donate to him. He put a lot of time and money into that, and I don't believe he got his money back. And it is a beautiful, beautiful, well done documentary. And it was a history again, the kid's eyes. Palatoys became a modern toy for me. An old, toy that nobody but Desert Rat cares about anymore. And that's not true at all, 100%. But it became a new toy for me. And looking at it through those kids' eyes and seeing that, and with Quirrell, it again, yeah, she's always been a repainted Scarlet. Even historically, she was a repainted Scarlet. Palatoy needed merch, and Hasbro was like, "We got you, fam. Do what you want with it." Repainted it, threw it out there. Putting the pads over, I think a lot of that has to do. I'm not defending their decisions by saying this, but I'm trying to look through this with some kind of explanation thought process. I think that they knew this was a deep cut. I believe at some point this should have been a probably maybe a HasLab unlock, kind of like no, I call it what it is. They want to get their money back from that fucking Scarlet mold. That's what they're doing. That's that. I don't need to make it any deeper than that. And Quirrell was probably an easy fit without too much thought process. And for those who really wanted the deep, deep cut, they'd pull the shoulder pads off, and there you go. Do I like having this figure? Absolutely. Because honestly, when I have this figure, what it means to me, and without any story or nostalgia, I'm going to think of Tony Roberts, Analog Toys. This toy is going to remind me of him and remind me that, of Palatoy and the history that company had. And then now every time I look at this figure, and you too, Rowdy, I'll think of you because I opened it just for you. I'm gonna go and watch one of his videos, and through his kid's eyes, I'm gonna share a little of his happiness. And when I lose that and this figure pisses me off, I'm gonna send it to JMK Customs and let him turn her into a space woman or something. Yeah, absolutely. Let's catch up with some comments. Magic at the LGS with my girlfriend was a success. Good. Magic the Addiction. We're going to get you help for that one day. No goblins. Listen, what you need is a rat deck. Don't tell your friends. Yeah, listen, I think there's two types of people when it comes to Funko Pops. The ones who leave them in the box and those that take them out. And I am definitely a get them out of the fucking box. I don't care. They're never going to be anything. I've got the Dungeons and Dragons ones and a few of the G.I. Joe ones. That's kind of my extent when it comes to that. And, they're just, that's about it. The Serpentor Funko Pop, you know what? If yeah, I'm ashamed. I'm sorry. I've obviously let everybody down. 100%. Yeah, 100%. They did it to satisfy the deep cut folks, an expansion of the Night Force, and they got their money back on the Scarlet. That's and they got to and they dumped it in with a Falcon that is not a Falcon. That is not a Falcon. They should have this right here should have been a Flint instead of the. Do we got a Night Force Flint? Let's see. I got Desert Rat. Nah, Flint was Tiger Force, wasn't he? You could put a Flint head on that right there and never look back. That's that if that was their fixing the I'm going to give you another unpopular opinion, maybe for the second time tonight, because I think I said this before. I kind of like that ugly ass Flint head sculpt. It's horrible. It's bad. But I guilty pleasure kind of like it. Don't be mad at me. My email's in the description. Send your hate mail there. I didn't like it. I mean, it was Don Johnson. I still to this day I hear Don Johnson, rest in peace. I hear his voice and I hear Falcon. Don Johnson, man, he wasn't good looking back in Miami Vice days. They came as close as they could to Don Johnson's mug without making it look like Don Johnson. And that's that version 1 Falcon, 100%. And it's bad. It's not good. But it's so good. Lord of mercy. Thank you, Ken. I put zero time or effort into any of this. No Night Force Flint, but then the retro Flint comes out and the original release Flint will go. Yeah. Not Flint was Tiger Force. That was, he had that stupid shit across his face. That What? Yeah, didn't Don Johnson pass away? Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I don't. Mm, nope. He is alive and 75 years old and celebrating a birthday on December 15th. Yeah, jeez. Getting old, kids. It'll happen to you too one day. Fuck off. I just listen, take that version 1 Falcon head and put it up against Django Don Johnson face, and it's almost just screen accurate. See, Talib, this is why my friendship with you is so important to me, because when I start going into the when I go and I don't hit that right card catalog, I know that you're going to be right there going, that's some bullshit. My bad. The stupid thing wasn't live when I was coming. What do you mean? Yeah, what are you talking about? You're here. We're live. Yeah, Don is alive. He's 75. Forgive me, almighty Miami Vice fans. I have run afoul. God, now don't fact check me. Do not fact check me, because I promise you there are modern day reporters who are not that busy. Just go with it, man. Just go with it. Remember, it's all about the slack, baby. Praise Bob. Do you have a minute to talk about our Lord and Savior, J.R. Bob Dobbs, and the Church of the Subgenius? Hydrate, people. This is what happens when you don't hydrate. You start thinking that celebrities are dead, and it's all over. And with that being said, we have gone over our 2-hour mark, so I can still call myself one of them 2-pump chumps. And the 2-hour what is what's the term? The 2-hour talking heads, or anyway. We're gonna call it a night so my wife can have the living room back, and we're gonna go and watch Death Race 2000 and oil ourselves up with some Diddy. And tell your friends. I again want to thank everybody always, for any reason, who listens to me more than 5 minutes and takes the time to, join us and talk about toys, talk about art, which next week we are going to be doing an art episode. So I'm going to draw something, and we'll figure it out. Maybe, I don't know. I might just talk again. Seems to be that's the only thing anybody wants me to do, is just talk. So I'm gonna run out of shit, and then I'm really gonna have to start making stuff up. You think stories get wild now? Wait till I start bullshitting. Ask Haystack. I'm unstoppable. Split uvula means they get the silver tongue. That's why all my exes still talk to me. Oh man. Yeah. The good old days. Last week. We'll figure out something. In the meantime, I do want you to, as always, check out Figure Fight Club. Open mic every Tuesday. Yeah, we do it Tuesday. Is that right? I don't know. Abby might have passed away. It's but every Tuesday and Friday, this Friday, we've got a great episode lined up. Abby's going to be interviewing Sir Dork alongside Talib 1980 _ collects and myself. We combined to form the mighty Yaptron, and we will be doing some yapping. I can always be found after mysteriously appearing after your favorite after show. For those who can't afford memberships and want to talk about things, you can catch me after certain members live. Notoriously, the 3POA podcast, and a few others that I lurk around. Sometimes after Ninja's show, there's no telling where Go to Bed will turn up. And how late we'll stay up and bullshit about stuff. Almost always toys. Or fucking tariffs. Who fucking knows? So that's what I got for you. Again, thank you everybody just for being great and making this a good show and some fantastic. And listen, I do want to say this. Thank you, chat. You guys are fantastic. You don't get enough credit. And, you know, I'm going to end the stream tonight with, instead of a fuck you, I'm going to say, I wish you some sweet, sweet love, baby.